I am blown away that this movie managed to bring together so many different kind of themes and areas, and it pulled them all off seamlessly. Very quickly, if you enjoy the cut of my jib, please consider hitting like and subscribe to see more movie reviews and hidden gems along the way. But that being said, let's get on with this one. Matriarch. So Matriarch is a British horror movie that manages to touch on a few different key areas and bring them all together. Not even just in the grand finale, but just throughout the movie. In this one we're following Laura. Now, the movie opens and it's very ambient and it's very slow. We learn very quickly through this introduction and the way it presents itself that Laura has alcoholism, eating disorders and drug addiction. She also found what might be the most sneaky coke way I've ever seen in a movie. I don't condone it, but it's clever. What I enjoyed most about showing this, which is a weird thing to say, is that they don't glamorize it. You know, it's not shown like some great lifestyle, and it's also not going too far the other way that it's just her life is being destroyed. It's a very honest and open look at someone dealing with these issues. You know, the lies that they're telling themselves and their employer and friends, the way in which they sneak it into their life, and the way it's used as a crutch. It's very bleak, but it's very honest and real, and I've got to commend it here. So of course Laura has a lot of baggage. She's fallen into this life for a few reasons, and those reasons get explored throughout the movie. She gets a call from her mum Celia, who they've not spoken in about 20 years. But it's never exactly pinpointed, you know, what the instance was or what happened for them to not talk for 20 years. But Laura has a lot of resentment for her mum Celia. You know, a lot of baggage is there and a lot of abuse had taken place. The first bit of suspicion though is that her mum hasn't aged too much. Laura calls this out because her mum should look a lot older than she does. But the mum just kind of shrugs this off and the movie moves on. Now she is from a really small village, and these are the few areas that the movie ties together nicely. You've got Laura's drug dependency, alcoholism and eating disorder. You know, you've got her internal issues that she's dealing with. You've got the impact of the childhood trauma and then trying to recreate those bridges with her mum. All the while she's went back to her childhood home, so she's back in this small village. She knows people, but of course she's not seen their faces for years. You know, people remember her in either good or bad lights for the things she'd done, and to be fair, her last time there, she was pretty young. So she was in those kind of stupid years of her life, so some people, they don't typically like her because she was a bit of an idiot. I mean, it's not okay, but she was a kid, so she was a bit of a dick. So the theme of kind of going back home is so prevalent throughout this movie. I'm from a little place myself as well. Of course, wildly different circumstances, but even just the act of going back home, seeing those faces that you haven't seen in years, you know, from shop owners and people working around, it's perfect. You know, finding old friends and trying to rekindle the friendship you had, but your lives have went down wildly different roads. A lot of shit's happened over the years, so you aren't the same people anymore. You know, that's all I can say about that aspect. It's just perfect. But there's something going on in this village. The mum is very overprotective, which you understand is because she's not seen her daughter in 20 years, so she just wants to be there, and she's very overbearing. Although the movie begins and that's the kind of premise that it's taking, it's a little bit more to it than that. You know, the mum is watching the daughter here, and I mean fucking watching her. She's got people helping her out. This town has some secrets. Some secrets that may or may not also have to do with Laura's upbringing. That's all I'm going to say. But Celia, the mum, she is just so manipulative and fucking horrible. You sympathise for Laura so much in this movie because of the shit she's had to deal with. And then even now when they're trying to get back together and the mum is really forcing a friendship again, she still talks to her like a child, you know, talks down to her and just controls her. Even little things like when she's sleeping, the mum is purposefully banging in the kitchen to wake her up. And then when the daughter comes in, she acts like she didn't mean to wake her. Just gaslighting the fuck out of her. The performances were unbelievably good here. Obviously the main two we're following is Laura and Celia, but even going a step further, a few people around the village are great. Village locals are fantastic, in particular Maxine, who is Laura's friend from when she was a kid. And Laura's boss from the opening of the movie is great too. Once we're in the village, we don't really go back to her, but she is great at that point. You know, she tries to help Laura as a friend, but there is also the working relationship, so they found that balance really well in the dialogue. But Laura is now just trying to understand what exactly happened. You know, she keeps hearing people talking about her mum in a really positive light, which understandably just fucks her off more, because she remembers her mum very differently. She's trying to uncover the secret of the village, all the while the mum is trying to keep an eye on her. So she's trying to get away from her mum, make sure no one's watching her, and kind of investigate what's happening. Just get a better understanding. I've not mentioned the dad yet, because the dad's not in the picture, and that is also part of the investigation. What really happened to him? Her mum starts getting ill, and this kind of black goo, blood thing starts coming out of her. Laura's inflicted by the same thing, so We're not sure what that is. That just urges her more to investigate. So what would I be saying about Matriarch? Change your plans for this movie. If you're looking for a good horror and mystery, this should be right on top of your list. It captures that small UK village vibe to a T, and also everything that comes with that. You know, the old relationships you're trying to rekindle, and obviously the old reputation you have you're trying to overcome. It doesn't glamorise Laura's life and the drugs and the party lifestyle, but it also doesn't go the other way and make her detestable. You sympathise for Laura more the more that Celia is just manipulating her as this movie goes on. And as I said, the performances are just fantastic. You don't know where her mum is coming from throughout the whole movie. She's got that kind of calm demeanour, and you know it's just that she's trying to stay in control of every conversation, every situation. And look, I've never sold a movie like this to somebody ever, but this has probably got the best final line of a movie I've ever heard. It doesn't have the context if you were just to jump to the end of the movie, so don't do that. But let this movie play out, and that last line, that is not one I'm forgetting anytime soon. It has very rich family dynamics, and it portrays them very well. And something that makes it just that a little bit more impressive is that the writer and director of this movie, it is his first debut feature-length movie. And he fucking hit the ground running with this one. Now look, have you seen Matriarch? What did you think of it? Let me know if we agree or disagree. And if you haven't yet, please do consider hitting subscribe. Just keeps you up to date when I'm releasing these hidden gems and try to discover the undiscovered. And as always, thank you so much for watching.